Rasheeda, the ever-successful businesswoman, thought everything was fine until she received the bombshell of a lifetime, Jock's secret affair and the shocking pregnancy that accompanied it. Imagine learning you're pregnant and the father isn't, even the man you're married to. Yes, you read correctly. Rasheeda is pregnant with young Jock's child. This fact had been kept under wraps, but when it was revealed, not just any secret, but a dirty, scandalous affair, it sent shockwaves through their entire world, tight because it didn't end there. Kirk Frost, Rasheeda's husband, was unaware of Jock and Rasheeda's affair, and his first words upon learning of it were, "Kill Jock." Yes, things became serious very quickly, but the worst part was that Camilla, a close friend of Jock's, had game to play while warning Jock that she had plans of her own that would completely upend everything once more. The story starts with what seemed to be the perfect life for young Jock, the successful rapper, businessman, and all-around industry player. From his booming career to his lavish lifestyle, everything seemed perfect. But behind the scenes, a storm was brewing that would turn his life upside down. At this point, the question is whether Kirk will decide to rebuild his family or end his relationship with Jock permanently. Stay tuned because this story is far from over. As a social media sensation, businesswoman, and devoted wife to Kirk Frost, everything appeared to be going well until the shocking news broke that Rasheeda was expecting a child. However, the father was actually young Jock, and the shocking affair that had been kept under wraps was suddenly revealed in a way that no one could have predicted. Imagine the shock, devastation, and disbelief that this could have happened. Rasheeda's life, which had been stable and secure, was completely upended by a single phone call, text, and whisper in the wrong ear, and everything she had worked for fell apart. How did Jock, who was supposed to be Kirk's friend and business partner, end up in such a mess? It wasn't just one mistake. It was a pattern, a betrayal of trust, and a plot twist that nobody saw coming. Jock, who was known for his charm and industry acumen, had been carrying this secret for months. He believed he could keep it under wraps like he had so many other things in his life, but what he didn't count on was Kirk Frost, Rasheeda's husband, being caught completely off guard. Kirk Frost, a man who had been married to Rasheeda for years and had built a life and a family with her, was confronted with the ultimate betrayal when he learned of his reaction, which was pure rage. We're talking about a rage so intense and blinding that the only words that came out of his mouth were, "Kill Jock." Not only was it the affair, but Jock, his so-called friend, had been hiding this truth right under his nose, and the betrayal was deeply hurtful not just from Rasheeda, someone who was supposed to be in his inner circle, was watching this happen passively while Kirk was consumed with rage. However, Camilla, a close friend of Jock, had her own interests at heart and knew exactly what was at stake, not just for Jock but also for herself. Camilla, ever the schemer, saw an opportunity in the scandal and was looking out for her own position, making sure that if this story went public, she would come out on top. Camilla's role in this was anything but straightforward. She wasn't merely trying to help Jock escape Kirk's wrath. She was carefully planning her moves, playing her own game, making sure she was. As Kirk's rage boiled over, Camilla started to change her plans because she knew that this whole situation was about to blow up into something much bigger than anyone could have predicted. But no one, especially Jock, could have prepared for the full force of what was coming next. Camilla wasn't just a side player. She was the one pulling strings in the background, moving her pieces on the chessboard to make sure she was the one left standing. She wanted to protect Jock and his reputation, but was also trying to shift the focus and clear Rasheeda's name. When Kirk finally caught up to Jock, it was more than just a verbal altercation. It was a violent clash of emotions, ego, and betrayal. It wasn't just a warning. It wasn't just a phone confrontation. It was a full-on assault, a violent showdown where Jock was forced to face the consequences of his actions. Kirk, filled with rage, didn't just threaten Jock. He physically assaulted him, revealing all his pent-up anger in a brutal encounter that no one could have predicted. But let's not forget who else was impacted by this mess. Rasheeda, the woman caught in the middle of this affair, whose life was shattered when she discovered the truth. Her entire identity, everything she had worked for, was now being questioned. Would she stand by her husband, Kirk, who had promised to protect her, or would she remain loyal to Jock, who had betrayed her, but was also the father of her child? Kirk was out for blood, and Camilla was playing her own game, trying to manipulate. Everything from the shadows. Be closely watched from this point on. She had a life to rebuild, a business to run, and a family to protect. But how can you rebuild when the foundation has been destroyed by betrayal? Just when you thought it couldn't get any worse, it did. The fight between Kirk Frost and young Jock didn't end with a few punches and a dramatic walk-off like some VH1 reunion show. But no, this was personal. Kirk wasn't just angry, he was out for war, and Jock wasn't just bruised. His entire reputation was being dragged through the mud, stomped on, and served to the public with a side of canceling him. Now, keep in mind the name Camila. Oh yes, the so-called friend. Kama's been working with Rasheeda's PR for months now. She knows if this gets out and the public turns on Rasheeda, it's over for all of them. One anonymous source told Fake Tea. Daily. Kama's been making quiet phone calls to the blogs, gossip outlets, and shady anonymous tip lines, not to help Jock, but to plant seeds and spin the story. And baby, she wasn't spinning it in Jock's favor. She's protecting Rasheeda's brand. Did Camilla turn the scandal into a soap opera? She went full Olivia Pope with a twist of Mona Scott, leaking a fake report that claimed Jock had gaslighted Rasheeda into getting pregnant by using her emotional instability and business stress. Meanwhile, the public was consuming as if it were Sunday brunch drama, with Twitter going crazy. Wait. Rasheeda and Jock Kirk were about to commit a whole felony, with Camilla playing chess while these boys played Uno. Jock received more drama than his haircuts, and the memes were relentless. According to another anonymous insider claiming to be Kirk's barber's cousin's Uber driver, Kirk went off the grid for 72 hours, locked his phone, skipped business meetings, and was allegedly seen driving around Atlanta with a baseball bat in the trunk, muttering to himself, "Ain't nobody playing with me no more." Bump others were posting fake Kirk mugshots with captions like "arrested for whooping Jock like a drum set," and as the drama went viral, Kirk Frost's rage only grew. Yes, it was that real, but the public demanded answers, not just rumors, and that's when Jock came out against all advice led to choosing to do the unthinkable, a live Instagram video. He went live with bruises, obviously stressed out, and breathing heavily as if he had just avoided Kirk again. He began to rant. "You don't know what I've been through. Nobody's perfect, but I didn't do this alone." Rasheeda was there too, and she knew what it was. In less than 10 minutes, his poor move set the internet on fire. Not only did he put Rasheeda under the bus, but he also confirmed the pregnancy and made it seem like Rasheeda was pursuing him. After she left the stage, she quickly hit up the blogs with a phony audio clip in which a man who sounded like Jock was heard, claiming, "I intentionally got her pregnant in order to keep the family money." Was it Jock's actual voice? Probably not, and the internet didn't give a damn. This scandal spread beyond Twitter to mainstream fake headlines like, "Rasheeda pregnant by Jock," "Kirk goes berserk on Urban Daily Trash," "Young Jock tried to trap Rasheeda Camila, spilling the tea without a filter," "Kirk versus Jock, the war for Rasheeda's womb drama insider." The woman who typically had a new reel every 36 minutes was now off the internet. Grid added fuel to the mystery by claiming that she was staying at a private wellness retreat in the Hills, possibly at Camilla's and her crisis team's request. However, what no one knew was that Rasheeda was hiding not only from the press, but also from Kirk, who became unstable and paranoid after the confrontation with Jock. Friends close to the couple claimed that Kirk had been monitoring her every move, installing cameras in their home and acting like a reality TV detective, pulling receipts from 2019 and even asking if the baby could be his, as if he couldn't remember how much time had passed. It was masterful sabotage with a dash of calculated betrayal, and while Kirk was losing his sense of reality, Camilla was gaining power. She started holding secret meetings with Rasheeda's business partners to discuss sponsorships and quietly clean Rasheeda's image while disparaging Jock's behind closed doors. She even persuaded Rasheeda's team to release a fake statement stating that, due to current stress and private matters, Rasheeda would be temporarily stepping back to focus on her health, family, and spiritual peace. In other words, we're hiding until the fire dies down. But let's not forget this wasn't over. Kirk is still spiraling. Start subpoenaing people like this was an episode of Law and Order, Atlanta Scandal Unit. The PI's mission was to track down Jock to find out if he was paying off anyone, and to confirm that the baby was his. However, Jock had defense strategy, and had teamed up with Lisa Gray, a formidable lawyer who once cleared a member of the Love and Hip Hop cast for a six-figure fraud case and a pyramid scheme in the same year. As legal threats flew, the city began to hush with rumors that Jock would sue Kirk for assault, that Rasheeda would support Jock, and that Kama was running the entire circus. The public was split, with fans taking sides like it was Infinity War. Atlanta edition. Hashtags like Dalcher Team Kirk, Out Protect Rasheeda, Oucher Kamalanu, and Dal Jock went viral within hours. And just when it seemed like the scandal was coming to an end, Camilla dropped another bomb in an exclusive leaked email. Yes, we got the receipts. Camilla contacted a major podcast network, claiming she had hours of unreleased audio, text screenshots, and video footage. Was it Kirk who lost it and went full WWE Jock, the messy secret daddy, or Camilla, the puppet master behind the scenes? That could clear Rasheeda's name and ruin Jock's career forever. Oh, she was playing hardball. Now the city was shaking. Camilla had just pulled the pin on a bomb that threatened to blow the entire scandal into flames. Those leaked emails weren't a bluff. They contained real files, audio screenshots, and even surveillance footage from Jock's studio. One file showed young Jock pacing back and forth while muttering, "I had to do what I had to do. Rasheeda isn't going to say anything." And Camilla would remain silent if she knew what was best for her. Yes, Jock just gave his enemies the golden ticket. Had the upper hand, and she knew it. She organized a live press conference with real chairs, lights, a podium, and all the drama, thinking she was in a scandal with the entire world watching. Camilla stood tall and addressed the storm she had secretly sparked, saying, "This situation has gone too far. I'm not protecting anyone anymore. What I'm about to reveal is the truth, whether they like it or not." She dropped 3 bombshells. And Camilla revealed texts in which Jock was guilt-tripping Rasheeda, saying things like, "You owe me this, Rasheeda. I kept your secrets before." The world went into meltdown mode, with blogs crashing from traffic, podcasts uploading 5 emergency episodes overnight on Twitter, a digital wildfire, and vulnerable Camilla claiming that Rasheeda had confided in her during a difficult time in her marriage, and Jock used that to get close to Kirk. The wild part is that Kama admitted to bugging Kirk's office, claiming that she had audio recordings of Kirk ranting, planning to ambush Jock, and even attempting to silence him. Goes deeper than Jock versus Kirk, and Rasheeda better not remain silent after this. I never thought my personal choices would become a circus. I was hurt. I was betrayed. And yes, I made mistakes. But I'm not hiding anymore. I'm not protecting anyone but myself and my future, Rasheeda said in a 3-minute video she posted on her personal page. Everyone in this mess showed their true colors. Now I'm showing mine, she said, without denying Jock was the father, defending Kirk's violence or praising Kama's cunning. And with that, Jock's camp was in a panic after the video ended and the internet froze. But let's be clear, that wasn't the end of the war. It was just the beginning of the final round. Camilla Kirk had threatened him legally, and even sponsors he had partnered with had dropped him within 30 minutes of Rasheeda's video. Another brand had erased all of his collaboration posts with him. It was like watching a digital eraser in real time. However, Jock wasn't finished. He returned with a cease and desist letter directed at Kama, claiming that she had broken recording laws, slandered him publicly, and damaged his professional reputation. Lawsuit. Camilla laughed so hard that she went live again and said, "Let him try. I got more dirt. He sues me, I'll leak everything. Jock better thank me. And I didn't expose his other baby mama drama." Meanwhile, Kirk was dealing with his own problems, and the world had seen the video of him threatening Jock. To make matters worse, Rasheeda's video showed Kirk as just as toxic as Jock, if not more so. The man who once screamed "kill Jock" was now facing backlash, financial losses, and the possibility of a restraining order, but Kirk had one last card up his. He publicly apologized by releasing a lengthy handwritten apology note that read like a Lifetime movie script to his wife Rasheeda, saying, "I failed you, Jock, though I cannot forgive you. I acknowledge my wrongs, and to the fans, I let rage get the best of me. I'm going to therapy, and I ask for grace." He even shared a picture of himself sitting in a counseling session with the caption, "Healing begins now." However, by this time, the public wasn't buying it, and just when everyone believed Camilla had one of her own, secrets began to leak. Camilla's assistant came forward and disclosed that Camilla wasn't just protecting Rasheeda. She wanted Jock out of the way because she had a deal with a rival artist with whom Jock had a beef. The kicker was that Camilla had dated Jock years prior and was still harboring feelings for him. Now that the tables were turning, the headlines exposed Camilla as a salty ex-Kirk jock, not a savior who really started the fire. Isn't love and hip? Hop, it's love and hit jobs. Suddenly, Camilla's credibility was destroyed. Brands she collaborated with stopped inviting her to their podcasts, and Rasheeda unfollowed her. The question on everyone's lips is still whether this was all a tragic mess of personal choices or if it was a long-played game. Kama said, without saying a word, that silence was louder than any live video, and now we have 3 broken friendships, 1 destroyed business circle, a baby on the way, and fans completely divided. Jock has gone missing and is reportedly staying at an undisclosed location trying to rebuild mentally and legally. Kirk is now committed to therapy, but he is still on thin ice. By Kama to take down everyone in one go, but one thing is certain. No one is leaving this clean, and the city of Atlanta is still talking, watching, and waiting for the next bombshell because if this scandal taught us anything, it's to be loyal. Now, it's your turn to speak up. Did Rasheeda have the right to remain silent during all of this chaos? Or did Kama pull the strings out of retaliation? What about young Jock? Was he the mastermind or was he a victim? If you want more crazy celebrity stories, crazy scandals, and truth, nobody. What's going to happen next will blow everything away, so please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and put on the notification bell. This isn't just gossip. This is war.